Fighting financial crime, and in particular corporate transparency, has been thrown into sharp focus in recent times. And there have been some important developments coming out of the fourth money laundering directive from the EU, particularly in relation to ultimate beneficial ownership registers that are now going to be required in nation states across the EU. And these UBA registers will require the recording of the people who own the corporate structures within the nation states. And that's linking natural persons to the corporate entity. And we've produced a briefing paper on the subject that discusses the implementation of UBA registers across Europe. And I'm now joined by some of our financial crime experts around Europe to cover some of the headlines coming out of our paper. So Damien, how will these UBA registers affect customer onboarding at financial institutions?
Yeah, it's a good question. So from operational perspective, UBO registers can have a very positive impact for KYC checks and broader client onboarding processes. However, if they are poorly implemented, there is a significant risk that this is just going to be an additional operational burden for financial institutions. We've seen financial institutions across Europe investing quite heavily in their KYC expertise. So you see a lot of teams, specialized teams that deal with KYC checks. However, even with those specialized teams, we see financial institutions struggle with integrity and quality of information that they collect on their customers. Now with UBO registers, what we're going to see now is you're going to have millions of individual businesses all across Europe now being required to provide information, but even more importantly to keep this information up to date. So on what are their ownership structures and beneficial owners. And that poses a big risk because we're going to introduce a centralized place with information with a risk that the data quality and integrity will be at risk. So from UBO registers perspective, the governments need to very carefully think of what is the operating model, how they are structured, so that we can assure that data integrity and quality of information is intact. And from financial institution perspective, this is actually what is critical, because if that information is accurate, then that's great. This is going to be a significant saving opportunity for financial institutions, having the proper information in place. And again, if not, then this is going to be a significant burden, and it's not going to help. It's going to just add additional cost. So this is why we're encouraging financial institutions to actually engage locally with governments, with authorities in this debate, and actually try to drive the shape and the structure of those registers, so that they provide value both to the society and help financial institutions.
Yeah, good thoughts. So Ulf, will UBA registers actually help prevent financial crime?
Yes, Andrew, I think so. It probably will help the law enforcement agents across Europe to be more efficient in their investigations. And I also think there is the directive and the register will contribute to a greater level of transparency, which is one of the absolute most important safeguards with the directive.
And I know that some nation states have social security numbers, which is a valuable method of helping to support the registry.
Yes, that's correct. For instance, many of the Nordic countries got social security numbers as an administrative system and unique identifier of individuals, of identifying people, and that will help them to build and maintain the register more easy. But it will also provide some challenges for some nations because of risk of information theft.
Thank you. Yeah. So Claudia, that raises the question of whether you think these registries will actually have accurate information within them.
Well, the fourth directive says that the register's data must be adequate, accurate, and current. However, in Italy until now there has been no indication on how the verification of this data will be performed. Therefore, the register data in its current proposed form will mostly rely on the self-certification, and this will not ensure that reliable data is provided, updated. The register for sure will help the identification of UBOs, but financial institutions will be still required to verify the data. So will such data be useful? In Italy we think so, but only under the following condition. A strict sanction system is ensured in case of recording of false statements. An audit trail of information supported by IT system is provided, and a supervisory body is appointed to verify the recorded data. In Europe, many say that the UBO register is a step toward the use of innovative solutions such as customer utilities that provide for central and verified data with lower compliance costs. Perhaps they may become established also in Italy, where nowadays the culture of trust in services provided by third parties needs to be strengthened.
Thank you. Well, it's clear that there are going to be some practical challenges in the implementation of UBO registers across the EU, and in particular it's important that financial institutions engage in the debate so that the operational effectiveness of that can be made easier. I mean, it's also clear that unless the information is accurate, then there may be challenges about the value. And when we're thinking about the overall value, there's a question about, because this UBO registry will only apply to EU countries at the moment and there isn't one in the US, is that actually going to help combat financial crime across the globe as required? But more broadly, I think it's important to think about the potential for cost savings and operational efficiencies, particularly for the financial institutions, that they should be considering when thinking about how they might plug what they're doing from a UBO registry point of view into things like Know Your Customer, KYC utilities, and other innovative technologies. So thank you to the panel, thank you for those of you watching, and goodbye.